Hello, Rosamond here, coming from North London with the final day of campaigning is done, yippee, and I'm back in my kitchen. I haven't filmed for a few days because what a campaign we had. It was nothing like anyone thought it was going to be. We were suspended twice with 2 terrorist attacks in the middle of the whole thing. It started out as being a complete shoe-in for Theresa May, and now we're on the eve of the polling day. It's practically neck and neck. Even the biggest Corbyn supporter was never going to say in the beginning they thought Corbyn was going to win. I mean, that was just a joke. The only things people were talking about in the press was how big a landslide will Theresa get. I mean, is she going to get every seat in the whole of the UK? Or, you know, one person somewhere in the Outer Hebrides will not vote for her. That's almost how it was, because the idea of Jeremy Corbyn was unthinkable to so many people because his own party had walked out on him. He'd had, I can't remember how many, 2 more votes of no confidence in him. His whole shadow cabinet didn't want to work for him. He'd been asked to go enough times, he just wouldn't go. So, you know, she was riding high, 20 points ahead. What has happened? Whatever happens tomorrow, he has had a very good campaign. And she has had a pretty poor one. Why? How? I don't know. I mean, considering Jeremy is down the road from me, I don't understand the appeal of somebody whose own party doesn't want him there. And yet, he's just working the crowds. What he says sounds sensible, which I didn't ever think before. He seems to be relishing the campaign. I mean, if someone told him he could have another couple weeks, I'm sure he'd enjoy it. Who knew? I have to admit, she looks like she can't wait for the flipping thing to be over. She built a campaign. Sorry, this is just my opinion. But hey ho, well, that's what we're allowed to do on YouTube, right? I have not said all this until this moment because it's over now. It's polling day tomorrow. No more campaigning, no more anything. And so I can say what I think. Everybody else does. And maybe you won't agree with me. This is my perspective from my time of campaigning. If you feel differently, I appreciate you letting me know. But this is how it all was for me and us in the campaign. I mean, she built a whole campaign around herself. Do you want to vote for Theresa May? And I was on the phone saying, do you want to vote for Theresa May or do you want Jeremy Corbyn? When it was David Cameron, we would say, do you want the Conservatives? Now it was all about her. Even if we were polling somebody in Liverpool or Norfolk or Bath, we didn't talk about the candidate that was there, that person's candidate, which is what we did do in the previous campaign. We didn't react as if the local candidates were immaterial. It's all about, do you want Theresa? She's the one for Brexit. Strong and stable, strong and stable, strong and stable, strong and stable. Well, she seemed to me like she ran scared. She seemed like me, she didn't want to be there. She kept refusing to debate with Jeremy Corbyn. Why? If you look up on YouTube her debating with Jeremy Corbyn in the Houses of Parliament, she is fantastic. She looks like Maggie. Completely terrifying anyone around her. Well, why didn't she do it? people who don't get involved in or interested in politics until there's an election don't know that side of her. She's been the one refusing to go to the debates. She's just gone to talk to the TV on her terms. Stick her up against Corbyn. She looks like she's terrified to go up against him. And yet if you saw her on Prime Minister's Questions, where she's up against him on a weekly basis, she's terrific. If you don't want to be there as the star and argue why you and your personality and your strength and your experience and your everything is what's going to make people vote, don't make the election all about you then. Why did you do that? You can tell I'm a little annoyed, but like I said, I feel like I can be now because I've had to defend it all the time now for weeks. And I was talking about my experience. I have loved it. I really enjoyed it. But right now, I'm going to tell you how I feel about it. I feel like it was the Tories' campaign to win, and they were winning. They were doing better before they even started the flipping campaign. And all the campaigning has, and I don't care about people going, well, polls go up and down. No, the polls have gone whoosh down, right to neck and neck. Why? Because it's not for lack of us. We're calling, we're leafleting, we're the people on the ground, we're asking how they feel. Have we been putting people up and upsetting people? No. But the Labour Party have done gaff upon gaff upon gaff. I mean, as the Tories have too. But, you know, Diane Abbott's been the gift that's kept on giving. She screwed up many a thing. And it was not capitalised on. We didn't talk about the economy. That the deficit is now a third of what it was. That breakfast lunch thing got screwed up completely. It made it look like the Tories were taking money, when it's actually putting money into where it's needed most. How did that come out so wrong? That dementia tax was actually a giveaway to give people 100,000 of their house to pass on to the next generation. And it ended up being again put as a takeaway. Everything she announced, she seemed to announce so badly, or was never defended, or never explained properly, and Labour Party just picked it up and made it. Even terrorism. 2 terrorist attacks is going to make you dash generally to the Tories, who are the party of defence. And no Labour leader has been so apparently weak on defence. We're talking, I don't know all the details, which we've gone backwards and forwards on, but someone who definitely is a terrorist sympathiser, who has stood on platforms with the IRA. These are big, big gains for the Conservative. And we have 2 terrorist attacks. Everyone's really suddenly interested in defence over Brexit and other things that it was originally about. It should be boom. But instead, Labour pick up on it again. And they say you cut on the police. Not that we picked up on the fact that Labour have never sanctioned the amount of spending that Tories have done on the police. I'm just watching them just give it away. I don't know if these people want to win. So I have been really shocked, really disappointed at the fact that I feel like we have 100 of us in the call centre, we have people calling from home, we have people leafleting everywhere, we have people doing so much work all over the place, all unpaid. It was our choice, of course, because that's what we wanted. And of course, people on the other side have been working hard too for all the different parties. And yet I can't believe the amount of disappointing behaviour on the part of the people at the top. So will she get the landslide that was the reason that she called the election? Who knows? There's still a lot of people who can't bear the thought of Jeremy Corbyn, so they may not like her so much anymore, but they will vote for her rather than him. There's a lot of people who are looking at him thinking he actually doesn't look like the lunatic that we understood he was, because he's been looking much more presidential. Could go either way. And wouldn't take anything for granted, as much as everybody's still calling it as a little edge for her. But she wanted the landslide. These things cost multi-millions. These things cost a lot of time and effort on everybody's part. And if she doesn't get the landslide or the mandate that she's talking about, if she gets just what she had in the first place, or if she gets a little bit more, it'll be extremely humiliating. She will have a bloody nose. And I think she might have to go. And she is at a massive support on the ground floor in us. So I believe there's nobody to blame but herself or whoever's been advising her. Jeremy Coleman, I thought you were a lunatic, like a lot of people did. And I've actually been really impressed with some of your arguments, which I never thought I would. So that's really interesting too. However, tomorrow we go to the polls. So I will go back into headquarters because it's not for actually the arguments any more times. All we're doing now is getting the vote out. So we phone and we encourage people to go vote. Please go vote. Please go vote. Please go vote. I might do some of the doors as well. And I think it's really important that everybody goes and votes. Whatever colour you are, I'm not there to try to make one colour vote. I think everybody should get involved and vote. However, I was going to talk to you about what this was all about. There's a few little pictures that I will put up now on this video of the campaigning, now that I feel I can obviously let some of it out. If you were not inspired to be involved like I am, I'm sorry. I have given you a nuts and bolts part of what it was like, and it wasn't all a bundle of fun. However, I did love being involved because whatever happens tomorrow, whether who I want wins or loses, I know that I could not have done any more in the effort. I have friends who are desperately on the opposite side to me. And I say, if you felt that much strongly, you would campaign, you get involved. But they don't want to. And I still strongly feel that you don't have the right to complain if you don't get involved. Anyone can get involved. It is interesting, it is fun, whether it's just putting a poster up or liking things on Facebook or getting involved in a debate or going to HQ and doing phone calls and talking to people about how they feel. So I would still encourage people, even if I have felt a bit let down by the campaign from the people at the top. I just hope they knew what they were doing and that the polls are not quite as we are told. However, I've met a lot of interesting people. I've made friends. We've gone to the pub a lot of times. We've had a lot of fun chat. Given that I live in a constituency where everybody votes opposite to me, it's been really, really interesting just to spend some time with people who vote the same. And that's interesting because that's actually an unusual situation for me. I found it really interesting just calling people up on the phone. I'm amazed at how many people pick up the phone and want to talk about it, because I think a lot of time I would be really too busy with a canvasser to call me, and they'd have to get the time right. And we call people generally in the evening when they're probably getting kids fed and doing homework and maybe wanting to sit and watch a TV show. And people have by and large been fantastic. I've had plenty of people put the phone down on me. But a lot of other people have really wanted to talk, and they've really appreciated that there's been somebody who's listened, and people have said that. The main thing is just to encourage people to really think about the issues, and if they want to discuss it, we're there to do that. If they're determined to vote a different way, then I will say that, great, fantastic, make sure you go and vote. Thank you very much for your time. I never felt like I had to put anybody under any pressure to change their mind. It was very much of, well, what do you think about that? And have you considered this? And I thought in that way, we could give respect to people whichever way they were thinking. And I do think on social media with Facebook and all, that by and large doesn't happen. I've seen people on my Facebook who said that if somebody votes or puts anything that suggests they're going to vote differently to them, then they're going to unfriend them. Did they miss the democracy lesson at school? What is the point of politics if everybody believes the same? There would be no politics. There would be no interest. So I think it's really important that people are allowed to believe what they want to believe and that we respect them. They may not think they're right. I may think other people aren't right, but we have to give each other respect. You know, where I used to live in Cheltenham, some people have been defacing the walls of paint on people's walls of property who've got a Conservative poster in. Whichever way it is, this is disgusting behaviour. Can you not respect someone with a different opinion to yours without having to cost them a lot of time and money and energy, without having to spoil their property, without making them feel scared where they live because knowing that somebody's going to come along and deface their walls? That makes me ashamed to be in this country. We should be proud of our democracy, and democracy involves people believing differently to you, and that we all have a say, and that we all have a vote, and we all get on and support the winner. And every poll has been, the last 3 or 4, I've been further and further astounded at the behaviour of people when a vote doesn't go their way. I have lived through many elections where the vote has not gone my way. And once you start insulting the morality or the intelligence of people who vote differently to you, you've lost the argument. The great thing about politics is that we have it in this country. We have a lot of choices. We don't just have 2 parties. We have a lot of others. And if you can stay friends with people of all different beliefs, it's the same as racism. The best thing is to have people in your life from everywhere and appreciate the differences. I may obviously feel strongly. I feel strongly enough about my political views that I have to contribute and be part of the political process in my way that I can, the bit that I can. But I would still very much encourage people who felt the opposite to me to also go out and encourage people to vote in their way. And maybe that's more important than anything. It's more important than who wins, is how we treat each other who feel differently to us. Politics is not worth falling out over. There will always be people who feel differently to you. And restricting your friends to the people who just think the same is your prerogative. But the rudeness that goes with it that I've seen, or even the practical nastiness and insults is disgusting behaviour, particularly for educated people. There we are. Thank you again and again and again for watching my take on the election 2017. Can't wait to see what happens tomorrow. I might do a little thing. All we're talking about at the moment is getting the vote out tomorrow and the party. I think we're having a party, probably a party before we know the results. Then then it's not dependent on the results, because the party is that we did everything we could and we've got to this stage. Thank you for watching. I'm so touched that some of you have watched this. Please, 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 now it's all done, put all your thoughts in the comments. And I guess I may or may not see you 2022 if we don't have another election before then. I do encourage you, in spite of my spouting off what I've liked and haven't liked about the election campaign, I do encourage you to get involved. I've met interesting people. It's been great to be a part of the debate. It's been great to contribute. And there will be a little hole in my life, as this has taken up so much of the last few weeks. It was actually quite cool when I started. Now I'm in a summer dress. Obviously the months have gone by and I've hardly noticed. I'm a little bit high now because I'm so tired juggling my work and everything else, and campaigning as well most of the time. So life will get back to normal, whatever that is. But I've been so grateful to have this record of how it was. So please go and vote tomorrow, whichever way. I appreciate you, love you all, and let's see what happens tomorrow. Bye-bye.